So we are getting ready to write a essay, an informational essay. And please remember what we learned about informational text structures. I want you to pause the video and review your notes in your skills section about text structure. If you reviewed your notes, you remember that there are 5 ways that authors organize informational text. They might use cause and effect. They might use problem and solution. They might use compare and contrast. They might use description. And they might use chronological order. So for our informational essays, we are going to be using the text structure compare and contrast. And for our essay, we are going to compare and contrast 2 different things. Remember, we learned just the other day that comparing and contrasting is when we tell how 2 things are alike or different. So if we look at the prompt on this slide right here, it says contrast the significance of the Nez Perce homeland to the Nez Perce and to the U.S. government. So just a few minutes ago in our Nearpod, you listed some of the reasons that the Nez Perce homeland was important to the Nez Perce, and then you listed some reasons why the Nez Perce homeland was important to the U.S. government. And overall, you should have had a couple ideas. Now, with those ideas, we're going to support them with evidence from the text. So to do this, I need you to take out Handout 15A. Handout 15A looks very similar to my slide, and it is going to help us to organize our thoughts and information so that we can write a really great essay. So the first column is going to be about the context. What's happening in the text when this text evidence is coming up in the book. So when this piece of evidence comes up, what's happening in the book? Then the source and page number is where is it found in the book? And then the elaboration. Every time we give evidence, we need to elaborate on that evidence or explain it. So this is the section where we're going to write, why is this evidence important? What does it show about what the land means and the land's significance? How does that reveal something about their beliefs and values? So the first group of people we're going to look at is the Nez Perce. So first we're going to look at the Nez Perce and what the land means to them. Then later you're going to look at what that land means to the government or to the settlers. So this handout already gives you the text evidence. We have to fill in the other sections. So the evidence is here. It's found on page 14 and page 15. So I want you to open up the text and find page 14 and page 15. Now you should see that this piece of text evidence comes right at the top of page 14. You do not understand that Wallowa is my home, and you do not understand why. Then he keeps going. When an author is using more text, but it doesn't come right after it, they put ... And it goes on down to the next page. I have many names, but thunder rolling in the mountains is the name that binds me forever to this land of the wandering waters. Now, this part reminds me of when I learned about the Nez Perce. I read about their spiritual connection to the land. And when I read about their spiritual connection to the land, I learned that they look to their guardian spirit who gives them their name. So the guardian spirit lives and dwells in their homeland and comes to them and gives them their name. So this is what he's talking about. He has many names. Chief Joseph is what some people call him, but his main name that was given to him by his guardian spirit is thunder rolling in the mountains. So what's happening in the text at this moment? Well, we're going to have to go back to page 13 to see what was happening. When I go to the top of page 13, the wind swirled high in the treetops. The one-armed general let go of his beard. My father unwrapped the light folds of his blanket. The general said, "Tell me, chief of the Wallawa Nez Perce, one whose intelligence is praised by friends and enemies alike. Tell me, do you believe that I have spoken to you before and speak to you now with two tongues?" I wonder what he means by two tongues. I think that might mean, it might be figurative language. That means maybe he's lying. "With one tongue only," my father said, "and I speak too with one tongue. Believe me when I say, we do not wish to move to Lapwai." "I believe you, Chief Joseph, so you must believe me. I say again to you and your clan that you must leave Wallawa." My father thought hard. His mouth was closed tight and his hands were pressed across his chest. He glanced at the snowy peaks, at the blue lake, and at the green meadows fading with the sun. So what is happening? What's the context? When this piece of evidence comes, Chief Joseph is speaking to General Howard, telling him the story of how he got his name, Thunder Rolling in the Mountains. Pause the video and add this to your handout. Now I have to elaborate on this piece of information. I know that this is what's going on. I can picture it in my head. Chief Joseph is speaking with General Howard. They're talking about why this land is important to him. So how does this piece of evidence prove to me or tells me about their beliefs and values? What does Chief Joseph's story help me understand about what the land means to them? How does it show the most important beliefs and values? Well, this shows that Wallawa is not just a piece of land to them. It's their home, and it's full of places that are sacred to them, like where he got his name from his guardian spirit. Chief Joseph and his people are deeply connected to this land, which is also home to their guardian spirits who gave them their names. This reveals the Nez Perce's deep love for their homeland and the tribe's spiritual connection to their homeland and environment. Pause the video and add this to your handout. On the back of this handout are two more pieces of evidence. Let's look at them. It says, the spirit chief made the mountains. He made the streams and meadows, the trees, the grass, the beasts that will eat the grass, and the birds that weave it into nests. The spirit chief made everything. Who is this man that will tell us to leave our home, our mother, and go to a place that does not belong to us? This is on page 15. So the context of this is when Tuhul Husote is explaining to General Howard that the land was given to them, the Nez Perce, and it was created for them. Which tells me that this is more than land to them. They believed that it was created specifically for the tribe. Add these things onto your handout. The last piece of evidence, the idea of being driven away by soldiers to a strange place far from the home I loved made wild thoughts flash through my mind. This is on page 17, and it is Sound of Running Feet, who is the narrator, explaining to the reader that the thought of leaving her home made other wild thoughts flash through her mind, which makes me think what I know about Sound of Running Feet, and I know that she doesn't necessarily value peace like her father does, that maybe those wild thoughts include violence, that maybe she wants to hurt the settlers for making her leave. So I want you to take a second and write down, why is this piece of evidence important? What does it show about what the land means to them? This land means everything to them. To the point that Sound of Running Feet has wild thoughts in her mind. That tells me that she really loves and cherishes this land. So all in all, if I look at the evidence from this organizer, I can tell you that this land means everything to the Nez Perce, and that the Nez Perce had a deep love and spiritual connection to their land.